Hi there, Ron here of Variable Play, and welcome to LarongAtin. Zero
Hello,
intro,
Hi.
just
good evening. We're
straight.
pretending we have an intro. Ano ba
Yes, we
we
just
can sing the song or whatever.
maybe I
Yung parang we'll hum the theme of X-Men or something like that.
yeah, baka mamaya sir, maganda yung pagkakaham natin.
Ma-flag pa rin
Ma-flag
tayo.
pa. I remember in our church service early pandemic, uh, kinailangan i-downgrade yung quality ng pagtugtog, pagkanta. Kasi sa sobrang galing ng mga nagse-session, they, they just keep getting flagged. So parang pagka medyo hindi maganda hindi nasa tono, yeah, sige. Napakantahin mo para sure tayo hindi ma-flag. Kasi ano siya parang all of the audio is licensed locally, globally. There's like a database they hit. So whenever there's new content that comes in, it's checked against that database, and then yun, you just instantly get flagged. So maybe there's some part of the intro that we officially bought that somehow got IP and wala na. So we'll make a new one. In any case, yan. Good evening. Hi, Rat.
Hello.
Kamusta? How's your bacon conquest experience?
Mhm.
Conquest, teka, two weeks ago, di ba? Tama, di ba?
Parang gano'n.
Yes, yes, 2 weeks ago. Sobrang ano no? It was just
Oh,
good evening, Fred. Good evening, Sid. You know what? We do have some music. I can play ito in a shortening StreamYard that I can play it without any problem.
Pag na-flag pa rin tayo at na-cut tayo sa
Wala na.
Although
Okay.
actually when I upload yung videos ko that I upload on YouTube, when I upload it on Facebook, it also gets flagged for like a few hours before it's released
Yes.
for some reason. Uh,
Yeah.
sa lagay na yun, yung intro music, ang iksi-iksi.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm using classical music pa.
Yep.
I think I'm using Vivaldi's something or whatever. So I'm pretty sure that's no longer under any IP protection.
si Vivaldi, buhay pa pala, no?
Oo nga eh. Tapos biglang, kaya pala siya yung nag-ano ng flag eh, no?
Di ba sabi nila, Nico, di ba? I was studying kasi, di ba, we had some assignments on that. So, nanonood ako ng mga IP law. Like, oh, it's transferable, huh? Oh, okay. Depends on. Cool. So, for the ones who did get to attend, yeah, sabi nga ni Rap, it was awesome. Sana, I wish I could have gone 2 days. Oo nga. Yes. Mag-play daw tayo ng dalawang kanta para walang flag. It will still get flagged. It's the waveforms that are being flagged. And on my first break from work. Oh, nice. And hi, Michael. Good evening.
Hello.
Yeah, this
No,
certainly seems better, no? Dati
yeah.
parang pagka-start natin, may mag-greet tapos biglang radio silence sa mga
Yes,
sa
suddenly people get blocked.
yeah.
Yeah, so at least this one, you guys just come on board and let's get going. Um, Problema, ano, um, may tanong sa atin, will you guys be at Tag Home? No, I'm not sure if Sir Freddy is, but we are
No.
not.
Most
Wala.
probably it's gonna be ESGS na yung next or Cosplay Mania.
Oh, nice.
Oh, there'll be ESGS this year. That's
Yes, there will be.
Hmm.
And
Uh,
medyo mas prepared na tayo, di ba? Nakita niyo naman, sir, may sistema na tayo, may mga
mm,
technology na, may equipment na, ang ating Ghostbusters.
mm. Although yung ESGS, I think wala pa silang public announcement, no?
Hala,
Okay.
I
spoil.
think they-
Sana lang, if we can share the same parang innovations in terms of placement, paano tayo nagkaroon ng more accessible space para sa mga games.
Mhm.
So yun. So for the ones who did get to join us, a few weeks ago we ran the tabletop area with Conquest. So the LarongAtin team was there to showcase the Filipino games, and yun, of course, very effective kasi sa high speed highway of 20,000 people passing through, kaya mong i-explain yung game mo in 10 seconds. parang
yes.
yung elevator pitch mo hindi nakasya ang 30 seconds, napapadaan lang sila, and kailangan somehow meron kang hook na mabitawan, and then boom, have them play.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Kailangan talaga magaling yung elevator pitch mo kasi you're competing for their attention. There's so
Yep.
many things happening during conventions eh.
and kanya-kanya na nga kami naging pakulo. The D&D team did a really good job. Gumawa sila ng parang picture booth na you can basically sit and have this whole parang GM table in front of you, tapos yun, you'll get your picture there. Pero pagkasalang na nagpa-picture, sabay offer na ng game. Sir, gusto niyo sign up for D&D, ganyan.
Mhm.
Pag sign up ng D&D, pipila kasi hindi naman matagal ang D&D games eh.
Mhm. Actually, si
yun na.
Keo was in costume. He was in his luchador
Luchador.
costume.
Yes, play bar game.
Hindi niya lang sinuot yung cape the whole time, but he was in his luchador costume.
Yes, that was fun. I really wish I could have gone to Conquest and learn how to play MCP. Yes, oo. NCP continuously had demos. Hindi siya, walang patid, 2 tables of just what I'm really impressed, MCP is not that gateway, di ba?
Yes, it's not. I would argue that as a skirmish game, it's not the simplest of things. As far as Warcry is an easier
Yeah.
game to teach actually.
Yeah.
For as a miniature skirmish game.
Yeah. But power of the IP. Ooh, Marvel.
Yes. Mas malakas yung IP ng Marvel Crisis Protocol talaga.
Brand recognition. Wow, you can play with the Marvel heroes. Yes. So,
yung nagagawa talaga ng movies.
Yes. So, aside from Conquest, did you guys get to play any games or any sort of geekdom hobbies that you guys have tried past few weeks? Anything you want to share?
We've been doing.
How about you, Nico? You can start.
I'm thinking, what have I been doing? So, yeah, ang dami lang nangyari in my personal life just in the last days. Kaya, ayun. Well, I've been busy, so I also manage yung 1/4 intermediate POD. So, I do that's been doing quarterly print runs. So since it's August, it is the Q3, the third quarter print run. So I've been busy actually for the last few days. I've been making chipboard components. Actually,
nice.
yesterday ba? No, was it yesterday or 2 days ago? I was live twice.
Right. And
I was
in
just
TikTok.
Huh?
In TikTok, right?
No, I was on Facebook.
Okay,
on
cool.
the intermediate POD page. Kasi
Okay.
ang dami kong tokens na ginagawa. So, naghanap ako ng mga kasama na who would actually chat and talk about game production and stuff like that while I
Right.
was making tokens. And I bought these giant uh, shears that are actually pangyero to cut the
Mhm.
chipboard. And so that's what I've been doing. I've
Wow.
been making a lot of things the past few days.
Talaga, it doesn't warp the chipboard.
Oh,
Yung
so what happens is I have a cutting machine. It's
Mhm,
called the Cricut Maker.
mhm.
Pang ano siya, it's for scrapbooking. So it's not really for tabletop. Usually yung mga bumibili nun, they use it for like vinyl
Stickers.
designs and yung pang mugs, pang stickers, ganun. So I was able to play around with it and figure out how to make chipboard components with it. But the problem is that since it's really not made for tabletop components, um, some of the designs don't cut all the way through. And if I do make it cut all the way through, it will damage the machine. So
Mm.
I let it cut, okay, and it doesn't cut all the way through. And then with my giant snips, I just get to those pieces and then with scissors
Mm.
clean it up. So it's
Yeah, okay.
not for the fine cuts, the giant snips. It's just to get to the part that need the fine cutting. So here,
Okay.
wait, let me show you my some
Giant
stuff.
sleeve.
Okay, so actually my desk now is full of these chipboard components. So look at this. I made this for
Yung
myself.
piloncitos.
Yes, here. These are piloncito coins. So
Oh,
piloncitos are the like a pre-colonial Filipino gold beads that we used to use as currency. And I
nice.
just thought, "Hey, I want to make chipboard components like pang upgrade ng like for some game, right? I'll have these Filipino coins to upgrade whatever game." So I
Nice.
made these,
Mhm.
and then there's here. These are the ones that I had a lot of difficulty with. Um, Someone had these commissioned. I think they're an expansion for Twilight Imperium. So there's
Mhm.
these little shipboard tokens, and I don't know what these are. I haven't played Twilight Imperium, so here they're different colors. So there's blue,
Nice.
there's orange, and then
I think they're status tokens for the ships when they move. When your fleet moves, you
uh-huh,
have to put status tokens on them.
I guess probably. And then speaking of MCP, someone had these MCP tokens made. So I don't know what they do. I haven't played MCP either. So I like these are damage, I guess. I don't know. So yun. So yeah,
Why would
lots of
somebody have those made? They're overflowing in MCP. Every box you get tokens.
I don't
Malulog
know.
sa token sa MCP.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe for a custom scenario, I don't know. But there's
Mhm.
also there's other stuff here. But yeah, I mean, just look at this. Look at how many I had to make for the Twilight Imperium was the one that was a lot. So there, that's how
Oh
many
my
because
goodness.
that's for 8 players, I think. That's why there's a lot of different colors.
Right,
So
right.
yep, that's what I've been doing the
Mm,
past the past days. So yun.
yeah.
Nice, nice.
I've
Okay.
played Seven Wonders Architects,
Mm,
and
nice.
I was very surprised. Uh kasi yun nga it has that Seven Wonders name already.
Yeah.
So you're expecting a certain kind of game. But when I played it, gulat na gulat ako because it has that Seven Wonders flavor, but it plays really fast. And I played it with
Super fast.
Mikey and Tomas. Ang galing ng game, and the box is super cool.
Yeah.
Dahil compartmentalized, sobrang galing ng ano niya, ng the stuff inside is so super cool. Galing talaga. I'm super impressed. Also, I learned a game the past month, King is Dead,
Mm.
and I was super impressed because it's an old game, but apparently I have a feeling, I'm not sure. I have a feeling it's the game that probably inspired the Blood Rage dahil
Because
yung
of
mechanic na isa-isang sumasabog yung province.
Mhm.
So basically one province resolves and you know which province resolves next.
Right.
So you're trying to resolve who controls this and who controls that. And andun din yung theme na hindi ka kailangan manalo. So
Mm.
it feels like it's Blood Rage, except it was made na super long ago, before, I think
A
even
decade
before
ago.
Dominion or whatever. Yeah,
I
more
think
than a
I
decade
think
ago.
more than a decade ago.
Yeah, so it's
2011, I think.
it's just surprising to find the old gems like that.
Mhm.
And yung Seven Wonders naman na old gem, tapos merong Seven Wonders Architect na wow, they actually ano 'di ba? They
Parang
actually did something new with it, 'di ba?
streamlined na yung Seven Wonders. Pero meron
Mm.
pa rin konting quirks kasi dun sa parang simultaneous triggers. So
Mhm.
how do you have the same feel? You need to have
Yes.
that trap. Pero I just want it faster.
Yes.
Pero tas
Galing.
gusto ko yung tipong busog na busog ako sa micro decisions.
Yes.
Ang decision mo lang naman, middle, left, right. Yun lang naman
Yes.
gagawin. Left, right.
Yep.
Pero dahil sa sobrang na-enjoy mo yung bilis, parang, ako na ulit.
Yeah.
And
And when we were demoing Seven Wonders before, the concept of drafting cards is a very difficult concept to demo for people who have not drafted before. Talagang sobrang odd nung concept ng drafting cards eh.
yep.
Even if they have an idea of what drafting is, let's say sa basketball, but for the average person, drafting cards is such a weird concept na ang hirap niyang ituro. But etong Seven Wonders, sobrang bilis niyang ituro.
And
Yung architects kasi pili ka, ito. You don't have to explain drafting. So I think it also gets away from that barrier. Also another thing that happened, not related to gaming. I had a comment sa Visor that
nice.
the Visor screenshotted and then shared on their Facebook page.
Yep.
And I think right now it has 6,600 likes.
Nice.
So I guess all I really need is a platform, huh?
Yeah. Yes, sir. I think it's heading there. Comment nyo na lang yung inyong YouTube link para they can follow more commentary like that. Pero yeah. So yun nga, nakakatuwa yung I also was very impressed with Seven Wonders Architects. It is a draft sort of ano ba? You're racing to build your wonder. May mga recipes lang siya, and as soon as you have the enough resources to complete that recipe, you get to build it. Yes, agree. Vote for Sir Freddy 2023. Kung pwede lang, sir. Matagal na.
Gamer's party list.
Yun na, tabletop for the win. And then you choose your card by basically selecting from either the player to your left or to your right. The left one is actually your cards, the ones that came with your pack. And when I say pack, grabe yung deployment technology niya. Guys, gusto natin maglaro? Ilan tayo? 7? Okay. Pili kayo. Pag pili nyo ganun, yun na siya. Buksan mo, lagay mo sa harap mo tong isa, ito yung rules nung sa'yo, okay, game na. Anong game na? Game na. Tuturo ko na yung ito na yan. Yan na setup, game na tayo.
Yeah.
Tapos, so, sobrang galing. And then, pag pinasok mo na ulit siya sa box, parang, alam mo yung sinukat ng
yes,
may
ang
caliper.
linis. Ang linis. Sobra. Pati, hindi ko nga, ito pati yung filler niya, hindi ko tinapon kasi eksakto eh.
Yes.
Galing.
Parang, mineasure yun, nakailangan mo yung filler, lagay mo ulit sa ilalim para angat siya ng sakto-sakto. Yun, clean finish. Yeah.
Galing, ang linis.
Agree. Super cool. Ako, I been playing Everdell. They recently came out sa App Store. So I'm like, yay, Everdell! Maintindihan ko na siya. De, joke lang. Naintindihan ko naman siya. Pero the first time na tinuro sa akin, hindi ko siya agad naintindihan. So apparently, hindi ko siya masyado na-get sa ganun for some weird reason. but I mean, tama naman, yun naman, that's how it was taught. It's a worker placement game, tableau building. So, mas nauna pa siya doon sa mga generations of combination thing ng deck building slash ganito. So,
Mhm.
Everdell has always been, yan, you put a worker, get resources, or you can play a card, pay the resources. Ang cool lang sa kanya, meron kasing public market. And in the public market, even if wala ka ng card sa kamay, you can still take turns. Kasi kung may resources ka pa at may pwede ka pang gawin, meron kang pwedeng bilhin sa market, you just keep taking your turn. So, it's one of those parang Charterstone, yung variable player turns. So, you choose when you are moving to the next phase of your game. You don't have to, sort of do the same pace with the other players. Or of course, you take your time too long, sometimes wala na ring available na good stuff for you kasi nga naunahan ka na nung iba. Pero yun, it's super cute art-wise, sobrang adorable. And then the engine building mechanic niya, if you for example build a farm, meron siyang icon ng guest niya, and the guest, you can, if they're in the market or in your hand, you can now play with them for free kasi that person lives in that specific house. But then you get to put a door on that house that closes that icon na kita mo yung mukha niya. So like, oh, somebody's living there now. So galing. Mga ganun cute thing.
It's interesting that we're not playing new games actually. Everdell's been what? Maybe
It's
5 years?
20, yeah. Old na.
Yeah. So we've been
Yeah.
playing relatively old games. Seven Wonders Architects is relatively new, but it's not new.
Not super new because
Yeah.
Philippines. So that's like 2020, I think.
Yeah, parang ganun
But
eh. Lumabas siya ng pandemic eh. Tapos, I guess, hindi siya nagkaroon ng exposure sa mga conventions. Plus, I think, nagkaroon siya ng problema na Seven Wonders brand. So, probably some people who saw it on shelves thought it was an expansion again.
yes, that could be it. Although
So,
the look, the feel, the color, the design, very different, very different color. Pero maybe, I don't know what they could have done to sort of refer to Seven Wonders without, making it look like it's Seven
an
Wonders.
expansion, no?
Yeah,
Oh, by the way,
agreed.
I'll shout out kay Joshua. Awesome MCP game last week.
Nice.
But Miles Morales dies first next time.
Pang neutral grounds party list daw. All
Yes, we're
right.
not left, we're not right.
Yes, exactly.
We're just going forward, di ba?
Yeah. Yeah. Unity. Ay, pala. Okay. And Clint says, so let me just read some of the things. Mike said he's playing PAX Premier. So I've played a few PAX games. Very heavy Euro. So, but some of them are lighter than others. Sa akin is PAX Renaissance. Wow, grabe. Battle resolution is a matrix. Like, oh, what did you do? Wait, is that this? Is that that? Is that this? It's like, oh my gosh. But it's really cool. And yun, Clint is doing Everdell again and doing solo. All right, cool. So today, let's get back to our topic. And we just wanted to, so Nico brought up this topic probably because of dun sa pag hindi niya na-estimate kung gaano karami yung kailangan ng i-cry cut. Pero there were many things that we thought when we went into tabletop games. Tara, let's get into the publishing bit. Ito lang yan. And ganito lang siya. I know how to do this. I know how to do that. Should be good. But then when you're there and you realize, oh, I don't know how to do that. and of course the game suffers a bit, the experience suffers a bit, and you of course learn through the process. But there are many things that we want to share to you guys, of what we've learned. So a lot of you guys are listening right now are fellow aspiring designers, so I think this is a good episode for you.
Yeah.
So let's start.
I'd say the wallet suffers the most usually
ah,
when you make
ah,
mistakes.
of course, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, agree. Okay, Nico, do you want to start?
Okay. So,
Do we
so
want
yeah,
to do
Ilan,
three,
do you have a
five?
list?
I have just some notes.
I
Okay.
have
Kasi,
four. I have four.
Okay,
okay.
so let's do four each, and then if there's something that you can remember still that you can
Mhm.
add, then we can do like a fifth one.
Sige, sir, if you
Pero
have
that
four,
might be a lot, so let's do three each, and then let's see if we can do four.
Mhm.
can you start, sir? I will just summarize mine into what are the biggest three.
Okay,
Just
I sige sir, kayo na lang
Sige,
po
my
muna.
number one. Although this isn't something that's unforeseen and it's actually part of the mission ng larong atin is the market size. A lot of people mistake
okay.
have this mistaken notion that the market size sa Philippines is malaki.
Yes.
So
I'm crossing that off my list.
Okay, we just had a tie right there.
yeah, hindi actually you can, 'di ba?
You can
Ganun
expand
naman yung
naman.
ganitong style. You can add to it
Yeah, you
and
can
then
you
say,
can
"Hey,
share
that's my number two."
to yeah. You can
Okay.
also
So,
share how you experience, realizing how small the market is.
mhm. So yung
Go
market
ahead, sir.
size kasi, the way I look at it, specifically for board games, not for other tabletop games, specifically for board games. When you look at it, uh, what I use as a basis for is I'm looking at the social media groups na dedicated sa Philippines. Look at that size, and then from that extrapolate a number na active, because I'm pretty sure a lot of them are lurkers or very casual. So that means majority of the people there probably don't buy or don't participate actively in the community. And then from there, you extrapolate the number from that na active, and then subdivide that into groups, into
The
barkadas
different.
or
Yep.
play groups, because play groups will not buy multiple copies. Usually they'll only need one. Next is you have to divide that again with uh, if they're going to be interested in your type of game.
Mm,
So if we rely on the core market for anything you publish for the Philippines, you're gonna have a really hard time because it's a
yeah.
really small market. Kaya the goal of the goal of Larong Atin is to grow that market pa rin. So that's
Mhm.
why we're looking for things that will expand that. Yun. So
Yep.
yun yung number one ko.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, agree, sir. Ano na um even in when we position, so like quotes and verses was the first one we tried out. And ang positioning agad niya is outside the core market. Kasi, okay, how do we get, attract people from the outside? And even that, you then also realize that the target market is not necessarily everyone.
Mhm.
There's still an intersection that we're dealing with. In that intersection, there's also a lot of barriers to get there.
Mhm.
Parang, oh, okay, I thought it was a walk in the park, and like we're gonna be selling like hotcakes, and
Yes.
you put that in the shelf and do this, and statistically speaking, yun lang ano natin general population, but no, that was not how it worked.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Tsaka, sige.
yeah, go ahead, Nico.
And to put things into perspective, kasi yung sinabi ni Sir Freddy that usually a game will only be bought, let's say a barkada likes a game, it will only one copy will be bought for that barkada. Sometimes less kasi maghihiraman. Just to put that into perspective, think about other industries or other types of markets, let's say video games or books. So let's say video games, right? Usually, it's per person may bibili ng copy ng game na yon. Let's say, I don't know, like when StarCraft 2 came out, right? Each gamer would buy a single copy of that game. So if let's say you have a barkada of 5 people who are playing StarCraft, that's five copies of StarCraft that's bought. But
Mhm.
when you go to tabletop games, pag yun, you're already, even though the number of active players, maybe let's just say there are 10,000 active players, yung actual copies na nabili, you divide that na by like 5 because naghihiraman. And
Yeah.
it's just a reality of the market. It's not na parang kinikriticize yung mga gamers na,
No, no,
oy,
no, no, no.
bibili kayo isa-isa. Parang hindi
No,
naman
no,
ganun.
no. No.
That's just how, that's just the
That's,
nature of
kumbaga,
the industry.
parang going into business, in
Mhm.
essence, this is still a financial endeavor.
Mhm.
Even though there's a big creative component, but there's still a large portion of a financial endeavor in it. And um, you, kumbaga, try to minimize your risk. And you do that by figuring out ano ba talaga yung effective market. Ano lang talaga yung kaya. And ngayon, kung maliit pa rin yun, and ang objective is to now grow that, what are the other means to expand from that Venn diagram na nandun lang tayo sa maliit na corner? How do we, you know, skirt around the perimeters and then capture other market, which is why a lot of our initiatives, going to ESGS, going to Conquest, introducing people to games. And nakita nyo, doon talaga nagsashine yung larong ating games. As in, you have 5 minutes, halika dito, you can play a whole game. Ilang kayo? 7? Tara, halika dito, 5 minutes. Tapos you guys can move on. So, ganun siya. Yeah, and it's because talaga nung una din, no, Sir Freddy, hindi natin nakita agad na maliit siya. I mean, smaller than what we thought.
It's much smaller than what we thought. Akala natin getting an IP or something na adding something is automatic. It's not, because hindi automatic na makukuha mo yung 100% ng fan base ng whatever man na
And
IP na
even the
makuha mo.
geek fan base that we are, that are widely popular are still
Yes.
parang geekdom in general is a smaller segment pa rin of the general population.
Yes.
So that's the reality of it. Na parang, okay.
And
Percentage-wise, maraming gamers, but the totality of gamers might not be the ideal target market yet.
yeah, tsaka even looking at, let's say, the geek population, let's say, yung tabletop is still a tiny percentage of the geek population. I think tabletop gamers versus video gamers, baka could be 20 times more video gamers versus comic book readers. There probably could be 20 times more comic book readers. So, ayun. And then the nature pa nga is that, let's say, a comic book community, each fan is gonna buy one copy of that comic book. But nga with board games, it's per barkada. So, yun.
Yeah. Yun yung isa pang, tama. The dynamic is very different.
Yeah. And
we have a question. We have a question
sige.
From
here
Gabby.
from Gabby. So, well, una, meron siyang comment. Yes, I think dapat may export din. We'll get to
that's
that.
part of our goal.
Yes, we'll get to that. I think learnings din namin yan. Number 2 na comment niya is, where can we play and buy these LarongAtin games? So you can buy them online, NG Spiel. In terms of playing them, you can definitely go to any neutral ground store, ask the staff, and they can teach you Hugot, Darna, Plataforma. A lot of the games are available there for demo. And then, some of the gameplay videos are also available online. Ang problem daw niya is how to find folks to play. Yes. Challenging. And yun naman, dun sa advocacy ko on the community side, that is where my group comes in, from Variable Play, where we network different groups so that we can have sort of this possibility to sort of grow back Nabili ko na yan lahat.
Wow, thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you
Nice,
very
nice,
much.
nice. Thank you, Gabby. Thank you, Gabby. Even
Or
folded fishes. Thank you, thank you. Cool, cool, cool. So yeah, I hope to see you at the table soon, Gabby. And yan, we have a lot of conventions coming. And then yun, there are game groups that are slowly getting back. But syempre, medyo nag-iingat pa rin how to run it. Unlike before na every day meron kaming nirarun na game group. Ngayon parang delikadong ganun eh. So at the moment, most of the ones that are working really well are the once a month model. So Cavite is able to do it consistently. The small villages are able to do it. So like in BFRB, we have a group that's running. BGC, meron nagra-run din. So yun. So we can connect you guys there. And there you go. Playing watch list right now. See? You can play
oh,
watch list while watching the maker of watch list talk about watch list.
Yes, meta. So meta.
Inception.
Speaking of playgroups, may bagong venue ngayon sa Cebu. Sa Cebu Ayala Central Block.
Hmm. Nice, nice.
So I think they just started last week. So I think it's gonna be regular.
Oh, cool, cool, cool. Cool. And ako nga, nagulat ako, may isang nag-post, coffee project. Kasi we played here, ganyan. Para ako, bakit bawal yun ah? Parang, maybe something changed. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
We will find out.
Diba, meron ngayon there's a coffee shop contacting VP.
Yes, yes. Hindi ko pa naharap, but it's in Makati. So we will work with them soon. But they're already inviting all gamers. I think it's let me get the link later and I'll post it. But so they're a cafe in Makati. They're reaching out to fellow gamers who wants to play games. So they have it there. Abby, of one of the volunteers natin, is running sort of a board game meetup. You can search for it, Mochis and Meeples, in their channel. They have their invite. So going back, Nico, medyo na
ah, oh,
you were about to say something.
what was I about to say? So I was saying that what was I saying? So the reason why I was making that comparison with, let's say, the comics community or the comics industry, the video game industry, is that I've encountered people who have had experience like making comics, making video games, and thinking that that experience it would be enough for tabletop. And that's where parang may malaking difference because the very nature of the market of tabletop is that you don't buy per individual, you buy per group. So,
Yes.
yun, it's something that, kasi our topic is underestimating, diba? So, it's something
Yep.
na I can understand but hindi nila makikita yun because most people won't really see that. When you say there are like, let's say 5,000 active players, you kind of imagine that there are 5,000 people buying, pero yun nga, hindi. Baka just
Apparently, it's 1,000 or less. Yes.
or tapos
agree.
bibili, tapos ipebenta niya second hand pa. So, may ganun din. Again,
Hindi mo kailangan bilhin agad, di ba?
Oh,
So, agree.
yeah. Ganun, iba talaga yung buying culture when it comes to tabletop games.
Yes.
And also, another thing is that there is very little overlap between the different sectors of tabletop. Yun pa. Like, a person who will spend a lot on Magic will not necessarily buy a board game. A person
Because
who...
the spend already is quite significant in the hobby they are enjoying.
Yes. Kasi
Pero meron ka, pero yun nga eh, ano lang siya, parang kumbaga talagang very small intersection lang. Oh,
yes.
I'm a board gamer, but I have a couple of commander decks. Pero I don't go beyond the commander deck. Parang people are offering, oh Ron, customize na natin. No, I don't have the bandwidth na eh. Yun na siya eh. Parang masaya na ako na I get to play. Pero pag sinabi mo, I'm gonna customize this, wala na ako time to search for all of the cards. So, but yun, agree.
Or even the intersection between, let's say, a D&D player and board games. Yun, maliit lang din. People sometimes underestimate how slim that intersection is between the different sectors of the tabletop
We
um,
all play and
market.
enjoy, playing together, but we do have our favorites,
Yeah.
and that defines when you look at it from a picture, and everyone's playing, but in a financial component, makita mo, this one is generating only for this sector, this one is generating for this sector, this group might not be even generating any potential revenue right now, primarily because of the audience and cost. So
Mhm.
yun, maraming
or
ganun
or
chances.
focus, let's say Magic, dun talaga sila naka-focus kasi yung pera nila, they wanna really buy just Magic kasi
Yep, yep,
umalis
yep.
ng board game, the that means not buying certain cards for
Pero
their
yan
deck.
naman, I think, siguro in the future, we'll revisit yung aking gamer motivations talk.
Mhm, mhm.
Kasi ano yun eh, malaking driver din talaga. What we play is also what we buy. And it's driven by what motivates us to play.
Yeah.
May tanong Sir Freddy si Gabi ulit. Pwede daw bang mag-rent ng tables na neutral ground?
Actually, Neutral Grounds doesn't rent out tables. They will let you play for free as long as the
Yep,
tables are free and if it's a game that Neutral Ground sells.
yep.
So, kung you're going to play the Larong Atin games, you're more than welcome.
Yeah.
Bring
Mhm.
your
Or
friends
any
and
of the board games that are
yeah.
available sa malaking library selection nila of
Mhm.
the database of games that are available in Superground. So, and as long as it's one of those games, it's the thousands and thousands of games there, then feel free. And ang alam ko sir is pwede sila mag-rent. Ginagawa pa rin ba yun? Yung manghihiram dun sa ano,
Uh, I
hindi
don't
na.
think that's being done anymore.
Mm.
Hindi na yung rent ng games.
Oo.
Dati meron eh, pero I don't think that's being done right now.
Okay. Okay. All right. Cool, cool, cool. So Nico, should we consider that yun na rin ang entry mo at least for number one? And then
Yeah.
I'll okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll go next. So me, ito very recent lang. And it's a big realization. I mean, I already realized how much how difficult it was, but did not realize further like really how challenging it is. And this is rule books are so difficult to make. Wow.
Yes.
Okay. So just imagine for watch list and just to take on watch list, no? Watch list was already studied by multiple people how to write the rule book itself. As in the storyline, how to protect kumbaga the legalities and the safety of the
Mhm.
context of the game and so forth. So everything was done in precision. However, pagdating sa dulo, text wall
Mhm.
wall of text Parang
Mhm.
hindi mo na rin. But pero I mean, if you read it out loud, it's
Mhm.
okay. It actually
Yeah.
sounds like how it would play. But that's not how people sometimes learn it. And then so rule books nga, Nico is one of our better guys in terms of building rule books. Mga lessons learned din, no, Nico? Kumbaga,
Yeah.
so, but yeah, I mean, plataforma, really good rule book, rule sheet design. A big part of it was a collaboration of Zaza and Nico's, editing that reached to that point where when people open it, it looks they are impressed with the design of it. Oh, galing! Like the nagiging reaction na is, of course, the game it's quite simple, pero you realize it is simple for gamers,
Mm.
but it's not simple for non-gamers. So kailangan may audience pa rin eh. Ang challenge natin may audience tayo na iba eh. So yun para sa akin na okay, hindi enough na well written siya. Kailangan well written siya but also well presented, well spaced. Minsan you have to sacrifice some of the cost. Gusto mong tipirin sa paper pero
Yeah.
wag
Mm.
na.
Yep.
gastusan na ng konti pa kasi kailangan there are things that I could have removed and just moved online para at least mag-free up siya. May mga ganong tricks na we just learned. So you can see the evolution of it.
But
Yeah.
para lang sa before we go to the next topic, part of the reason was actually Plataforma is actually a game yung design at least ng rulebook is a newer design than Watchlist.
Yep.
So sa release nauna ang Plataforma, but sa actual design nauna ang Watchlist. So
By 4 years.
Tingnan yung evolution. Tapos
4
yung sa
years.
release ng products, makikita nyo na bakit parang may devolution. Pero actually kasi baligtad yung release sa actual design. Kaya may konting ganyan.
Yeah. Pero ano din, if without Nico, I wouldn't have designed yung initial output din natin sa sa Plataforma. Mas malinis nung nadaanan na ni Nico. So, I think that's yun na parang I understand UX, I can present, information really well, but information for learning a game based on its rules, parang ibang science na siya ulit.
Yeah.
So,
Rule books is one of the most stressful parts of the board game development cycle. Especially kasi for example, in our experience, we did Darna and we did basta yung games namin are really na pangmasa talaga yung target. So it was really difficult because you're already falling into also the problems of reading comprehension. And well, for me, one of the most stressful parts about rulebook design is that once you've so when we write a rulebook, we test it out. We actually prepare a play test just for the rulebook. We'll bring out the game. We'll give the rulebook to the players. They'll read it, and then we'll observe if they actually can play it based on the rulebook. And one of the stressful aspects of that is eventually mauubusan ka ng tao to test it with. Because once they've tested it once, they cannot test it again because they already know how it is. They're already biased to understanding the game. So, dati talaga when we were testing like Darna, kung saan-saan talaga naghahanap kami ng tao. Because we couldn't get, okay, think about this way. We couldn't get gamers kasi masyadong hindi sila representative of the target audience. We couldn't get people who've already tried the game because then they already know it. So once na na-test na, hindi na pwede. So talagang naghahanap kami sinong mga kung may guard ba sa subdivision, kung may mga mga gano'n, kung saan talaga naghanap kami and we, to be honest, we never really got to the point na parang okay, perfect na tong rule book na to na magigets kasi there'll always be a problem and we just run out of time, run out of people to test with, and that's just I guess the reality when you're making for, let's say, the mass market. And a lot of people nga, they think na mas mahirap gumawa ng game for gamers. Pero actually, I would say in some ways, mas mahirap. Kasi with gamers, you can assume a certain level of gaming quotient. And so parang pag may konting problema yung rules mo or yung mechanics mo, okay lang, the gamers will figure it out, they will adapt. Pero pag mass market, you can't make that assumption. So, mas mahirap siya. Mas maliit yung leeway mo.
Yeah. And even the language you use in the rulebook, you have to be very, very careful.
Yeah. Kaya, ayun, we ended up, when we make rulebooks, because of that training, because of training with the having to do the mass market, we did yung sa Darna, sa Bagani.
Right.
The way we do rule books is as visual as possible and with as few text as possible. Kasi pag nakita ka ng paragraph, a lot of people, they get intimidated. So, even, ayun pa, like if you're, for gamers, the tendency is you want to be as precise so that people don't make mistakes understanding the rules that you wrote. Pero when you're in the mass market, sometimes you even want to be less precise just because you don't want to intimidate your reader with too much text. So sometimes parang okay, this rule, this way it's worded can be subject to interpretation, pero it's better than like putting all of the legal jargon
The
and then
caveat.
oo, tapos biglang, but when they see it, parang ayoko na to basahin kasi basa, gano'n. And when you bring that out ngayon with the mass market, makikita mo na parang, oh, the game looks interesting. Paglabas ng rulebook, ayoko na, nawala na yung interest kasi just too
Yeah.
much of an effort. So
Agree.
things like that na hindi mo makikita until you've actually tried it out and see it. So
Yes. Which is why I always tell aspiring designers, nasulat mo na yung rules. Nasulat mo na yung rules. Like, oh, you have a good game design, may prototype. Nasulat mo na yung rules. Kahit outline lang. Kasi simulan mo na, mahaba trabaho yan. kaya namin tinatanong sa inyo. Kasi, na-anticipate na namin yung journey na kailangan yung i-take para lang makapag-come up na magandang rulebook design. And again, okay, Folded Wishes is already internationally published with a publishing team, with a seasoned developer, and the right infrastructure to do it. First edition still had so many issues pagdating dun sa rules. Maraming mga references na mali, may mga pictures na, wala naman ganyang token. Wala naman. Bakit may ganyang animal? Bakit ganito tawag dito? Bakit may dami? Mga disconnect. It's all there. And in hindsight, the new publishers are going, dapat inayos to ganyan. But you have to understand, ito yung, you wanna make it perfect, but also understand that because you have deadlines, you're trying to target, mapaabot mo siya ng SM or mapaabot mo siya ng GenCon. Because if you release outside of those and you're a small, publisher, nobody's gonna notice. It's like, what was that? There was a game published? I didn't see.
Yeah.
so yun. So ganun siya. You sometimes parang it is a risk that you have to take, pero yun. Talagang one big realization pa, parang mas mahirap pa yata ang gawin yung rulebook doon sa mismong game. Almost.
Yeah, actually yung diba I would also always ask people na parang, have you written your rules? Pero kasi ako naman, iba yung approach ko. If I'm having a hard time writing the rule book, I'm going to change the game. I'm not going to put effort to fix the rule book. Since the game is the problem. So,
parang hirap na-explain nito.
As Ron was saying, mas mahirap i-write yung rule book. So parang if I already foresee, okay, this is gonna be hard to understand the rule book, I'm gonna change the game, not the rule book, kasi mas madali ayusin yung game. So yeah, that's how much of a headache yung rule book writing is. Yeah.
Yes. Cool. Okay, sir, number 2.
Okay. Yung challenge of printing. Ito pati ako paminsan na-shock dito lalo na nung umpisa.
Yeah.
Yung having things printed, especially locally, talagang wow, magugulat ka sa actual capacity or ability ng Pilipinas to produce these things. It's almost zero. So it's one of those things na it's really surprising. We're not talking about yung mga ang tawag dito, yung small runs like yung
like yung POD
like on demand. We're talking about yung printing ng nasa libo.
Mass market.
So, mass market mass printing, and very limited yung capacity ng Pilipinas. And then I also learned that even magazines were printed abroad.
Yes.
Ganun ka I guess I don't know, kahina yung printing dito sa Pilipinas. I don't know if it's connected to some other things like us not being a book reading country or something like that. So medyo mahirap mag-print ng anything sa Pilipinas. So yun yung it was something that we learned really early on, and it still is a problem until now.
Yes.
Na yung may design na tayo, sige, saan natin papagawa? Tapos sige, meron tayong kilalang printer, tapos kausap mo na yung printer, biglang, okay, ito yung kaya niyong gawin. Okay. Magugulat ka na lang.
Parang,
Okay, so we'll have to make do with whatever. Sige, di ba?
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
about that, actually that was also on my list. And nung ginagawa ko yung POD, yung nagsa-stream ako, isa yun sa topics na ni-request ng mga tao. O, ni-request ko ba or nagmadaldal lang ako? But, and, my personal experience with that, because it's true na you would think yung mga chipboard components like itong mga ginagawa ko, kayang gawin na parang, it seems like it should be simple enough, diba? Pero what I think people don't realize also is that the machinery that is used to make board games is specialized, and in some cases it's only for board games. So
Yes.
the reason why the production here in the Philippines cannot make it is because we don't have a big enough industry or any industry at all to create these kinds of um, products. Kasi ano nga ba? Ito yung pinaka the best example is cards. Na minsan parang mapapakamot ka talaga ng ulo on cards. Kasi so here, let me see. Do I have a card? May nag-print
Yeah, so
ni Say.
while Nico's looking for the cards,
Okay, so this
share ko lang
ah.
sa quotes and verses. Agree. Okay na yung design namin. Good na kami ni Sir Freddy. Okay. Go sa printer. Doon namin na-realize, lahat pala ng ipiprint nila, doon palang gagawin kung paano yung strategy para magawa siya. Like, paano tayo mag-print ng ganyan karaming cards? Try kaya natin magawa ng ganitong. So, nag-fabricate pa sila ng pangkat. Kasi ngayon, meron siyang yung the thing, the little nib that's hanging. Tapos yung pati yung box, hindi nila alam kung paano gawin. So, nag-experiment pa sila ng pagtupi. So, pagkakaintindi ko, basically, nagtawag pa sila ng mga tao para mag-punch out ng cards. And then, to leave it sorted. Parang, wow. As in, manual labor, everything of quotes and verses, absolutely everything, up down to the wrap, was blow-dried to manual labor. Like, oh my God. Wala pala tayong technology for that. Go ahead, Nico.
So the explanation of that is, so usually when you cut something for print, right, and you have a special shape, the process is called die cutting. Now, the die cutting is basically parang there's a metal, imagine a metal stamp, or well, just think of your punch boards, right? Yung punch board. So the whole sheet of chipboard with the thing printed on it goes through this thing, and then there's like this giant metal stamp na nandun yung design ng circles and triangles and squares, and it will be pressed onto the thing. Tapos yung stamp na yun, matulis yung sides. So in one pack, it will squish it and then cut it out. Pero the way that works is, just like in a punch board, hindi completely cut yung thing. Kasi if you completely cut all the way through, all the components will fall, and then it will become a sorting problem. How do you know which game is gonna have, you're gonna have to have manually check na this game has 50 of these chips, this game has 10 of these chips, ganon. So kaya they put a little piece of paper na hindi all the way cut through, and then yung punch board, yun yung papasok sa game. So the real reason for the punch board is para to no more sorting cost. It's just, yun na mismo, bahala kayo na mag-sort, ganon. So that's die cutting, and die cutting is something that exists naman here in the Philippines because it's the standard way of cutting. Problema is that because of that little nib, yung tawag dyan, yung sugat, and I'm sure you've experienced that because with a punch board, may ganun yung tokens, usually people will nail clipper them out or something. But with a card, if you have a whole deck of cards na may konting nib na nandun, and you put the whole deck of cards together, tapos makikita mo, hindi pa
may line.
May line, and the line pa is not regular.
Yeah,
iba
yung
position. Sobrang pangit tingnan, and it's just not good, especially for cards. So the reason So for international board game production, there is a cutting machine that's just for cards.
Yep.
Na the paper goes here, tapos may magka-cut on this side, tapos may magka-cut ng ganyan, tapos may corner rounding. But yun, that machine is only for cards. There's no other use for it. And that's
Yeah.
why it doesn't exist here in the Philippines because no one needs that many cards printed.
Yes.
Um, so, ayun. So, talagang uh, and it's a problem because when you go to a print shop, let's say you're gonna have a game printed, you go to a print shop, you say, I want these cards made, and you give the dimension and you give the corner rounding. They're initially, the print shop's gonna say, oh, kaya namin yan, kasi kaya naman talaga nila. Kaya lang, di nyo alam, the gamer, na parang that means na may sugat. Kasi for
Yes.
them, it doesn't matter to them. They don't think that that's a problem. But for the gamers, that's a big problem.
Yes.
So, ayun, things like that na parang if you're not listening to a stream like this, you're going to find that out after you've given your down payment of how many hundreds. And then doon mo lang makita na wait, hindi to
Hindi
pwede.
tayo nagkaintindihan.
Oh,
And then
hindi
you ask
Yeah.
them, oh, paano gagawin dyan? I've heard some na, meron kaming parang, yung parang saw, yung parang
Lilihain.
pinapasahan.
Oh,
Ang problema, it burns. Para
Yeah.
siya nagke-create ng suit.
mhm.
So, so makikita mo ngayon, pagbalik sa'yo ng card, amoy Yossi kasi, kasi talagang it started, to make heat. Yung iba, laser cutter talaga. So, yun hindi siya ganun kasimple. Let's just
Even
pick
yung
up
corner, yung round corners,
Oh
that's
my gosh.
complicated.
Yeah.
Have you personally, kahit nga ikaw lang gumawa ng rounded corner and you buy those rounded corner flippers thing, hindi mo pa rin siya magawang consistent kasi you really need specialized machine. And
Yeah.
ang problema, it goes back to the first nga na mention ni Sir Freddy, the market size is not large enough to warrant printers to invest in capabilities locally.
Yeah.
To do that. Ngayon, you can say, oh, hindi, pwede naman natin gawin siya for export. That's a a possibility. You need to have the clients first. Mauuna yun eh. Bago you'll get, hindi ka pwedeng you spend billions agad, not knowing na meron ka ng partners. Medyo mauuna yun. So parang, parang ngayon, parang anong nangyayari even for LarongAtin, sige, upgrade tayo ng konti ng technology, reinvest tayo, makilala, may konti kang audience, tapos balik ulit. So parang a few step forwards, a few step back, few step forward ulit, until hopefully, we reach to a point nga na we have good parang recognition outside, and maybe baka magkaroon tayo ng introduction of those technologies in the Philippines.
Yeah, yung LarongAtin talaga, actually, if you think about it, we're gaming this. Kasi engine building lang to eh. Long
game.
Long game to eh. Some people see what we're doing and parang medyo nagtataka sila. Just think about it that way. Gamers din kami. Long game to eh. Long game strategy to eh. years in the pipeline yung iniisip.
I hope
We hope na it pays off.
Yes. Talagang yun. Nasa hope stage pa lang kami ngayon.
Nasa aspirations and dreams.
Yes.
Sherlock long-term strategy.
hedging your bets. We have a few comments. So Mark said his favorite rule book are Wingspan and Arcadia Quest. That is surprising for me because Arcadia seems hefty. It's a sort of MMO na may miniatures, so it looked hefty. Maganda pala yung rules. So maybe I will try that out. And then
dahil sa mga illustrations.
Probably in terms
very
of
graphic
explaining.
Game.
Yeah. Sir Michael of Dice 22, tama ba? Dice 22. PH. So I've seen a 1-hour video. Yes, I think I know what you're referring to about the whole manufacturing process. And grabe, sobrang specialized kasi siya para siyang supply chain, di ba? From the design, prints, goes into the stock, goes into the cutting machine. Simula muna tayo dun sa printer. That printer is not available here. Dun muna tayo. Our printer technology here is the sukat, and you have to have that wiggle room in the background. We cannot do full bleed because we need that saving white border, whatever border you use, or your picture border, however it is, to save our kasi wala reality siya.
When I talk to printers, especially so when you're doing commercial printing, right? It's yung tawag dyan offset printing. A lot of the offset printer operators, they refer to their craft as black magic because they don't fully understand exactly what, parang may intuition na nangyayari. Parang hindi siya precise, and may kailangan na feel nila yung makina. May ganun lang.
Parang sa floor ng Warhammer 40K, dinadasalan nila yung makina.
Machine
Please
spirit.
dumana ka.
This is called the machine spirit.
Yeah.
Meron silang attenuity sa
seriously, when I talk to them, that's how they describe their craft. It's black magic. Yung making sure the colors are ganon.
Yeah, agree. Yung tipong nagpasa ka ng kulay, nagpasa ka ng file sa kanila, pero hindi lalabas to. Naman, tama naman yung grading ko, Deezer eh. Yung ganitong color namin, malakas ang Parang, how did you know?
and makikita mo, even from one print run to the next, mag-iiba yung kulay eh.
Yes.
Which is that's even normal in abroad printing.
Yes.
Yeah. Which is why talagang very precise sila dun sa batches. They really wanna run things and build things in a batch and not mix them. Otherwise, kasi you'll get in a set mixed colors, then suddenly yun na chaos. Especially in the States, hindi as common yung nagsisleeve ng cards. Like humid countries like ours.
Yung Lords of Water, I can tell which ones are the expansion cards and which ones are the base.
Yes, kita siya. Yeah. And meron akong isang game before. Ang kulit. Pagdating ng expansion, yung card back, so same naman, pero yung card front niya nag-rotate.
Ay, Lords of Waterdeep, I got.
So how do I put this inside? How do I sleeve this? This is so annoying.
That's one reason why Magic is also extra expensive, because the printers of Magic have to invest in extra QA to make sure that the color back is the same between sets, because it has a tournament aspect na hindi pwede talagang mag-iba. So yun, they like atmosphere control the whole factory, basta mga ibang level of costs to printing. And
someday, I don't know if you guys follow this YouTuber Alex. He's a sort of chef scientist geek, but he currently has a parang a series about making dry pasta, and he just dives deep into all of the technologies involved and whatnot. So I aspire that someday gagawin natin yon para sa sa tabletop printing. Parang paano tayo kaya gumawa nito, and then you just dive through, you fly to different countries interviewing all of the different printers. How did you print this? We can't share you our secret, and then we'll try to reverse engineer and whatnot. So anyway, I digress. Na-mention din ni Sir William, always wanted to learn about tabletop games. I've been thinking about a spiritual successor to the old L5R. Meron na, sir. Nagkaroon si L5R LCG. Check it out. It's pretty good. More board game feel. Been writing the story. Okay. So, more on the story, agree. Masaya ang story talaga ng L5R. Largely disappointed now with the Fantasy Flight redesign. Okay, alam na pala ni Sir William yung sa LCG ng L5R. Yeah, but I like the game. I still have quite a bit of sets with me. Baka quicker daw, sabi ni Frederick, to create a portal to Germany and China. If you do that, I think we don't have to build board games. There's a lot of other things. Uh, if you remember Kapilandia, we try to do good printing. Okay. Yeah, so yun, that's my prototyping vendor of choice. Kapilandia, forgot the other names of the print. Even Office Warehouse. Some of them would have the capability to print A3,
Yeah.
A3, and which is 11 by 17. And so medyo marami ka ng cards na pwedeng i-shoot doon. But gulat ka. Nandun ka na't lahat okay ka na. Sir, hindi pwedeng ganyang cardstock eh. Bawal eh. Bakit bawal? Papel lang naman to. Sir, ito lang yung allowed sa amin eh. But it's a printer that doesn't roll. It just goes like this. Sir eh. Sabi sa amin, bawal eh. Okay. Wala din. So yun, you'd be surprised. A lot of missing technology. Sige. That was Nico ba o Sir Freddy?
My second.
Okay, Nico, your second. I think kaya lang natin mga dalawa.
Okay, so this one is okay, so for one of the things that I underestimated is the distribution. The distribution and
that's a good
one. I think that if you have a game, you have a good game, then you should definitely get a distributor to work to distribute your game. So just for an idea, so Balangay started as a publisher. We published The Big Switch, which was a board game, and then we published Darna, which was a card game. And then after that, we never really published again na. Naging design na lang kami. We switched, naging publisher na namin sila yung Ludos under Sir Freddy. So for The Big Switch and for Darna, na-experience namin yung full range from publishing all the way to getting the games into the retail store. And yun, parang in hindsight talagang it was something we underestimated so much. The costs of distribution, especially if you only have one game, is so great. And a lot of people who aspire to self-publish and make their own games, I would suggest don't go down that route kasi the costs are so high. So just to give an idea, diba, when you make your game, so you publish your game, and then you now need it to be in stores to be sold. So syempre you're gonna do online, which is also good. Pero for the reach, you need it to be in stores. So you'd think na parang, let's say, what's a big store? Like, let's say, mga National Bookstore or SM or something like that. You'd think na if you want your game in their store, then you will bring it to them, and then after that, they'll put it in their stores. Hindi ganun. Let's say for National Bookstore or no, you have to deliver to each store individually. Walang parang sorting center or parang base of operations wherein you will give it to them, and then after that, sila na magdi-distribute. Hindi, you're going to request each store is going to carry a certain amount, and then you're going to do all the paperwork, and then once you've done all the paperwork, you're going to drive and go to each store, you're going to go to each back room, you're going to have these papers collected, and then minsan busy yung tao, so you're going to wait there for a whole month. Yung gas pa lang, wala na yung profits mo, and yung time mo. I remember we did this kasi we thought, siguro kaya naman namin to, parang doesn't seem that difficult, but it's the time and energy wala. And yun, yung percentage na makukuha ng distributor, well worth it yun for the amount of effort and the amount of time. And this is very important if you're self-publishing a game, kasi some people, they're going to look at their their selling price, and then they're gonna look at their manufacturing costs, and then they're gonna think, okay, the difference between that, yun na yung profit ko. But no, there is so much other costs, so much bigger costs than manufacturing. After manufacturing, you're gonna have your marketing costs, your distribution costs, your, I don't know what other costs. Storage pa, isa pa yun. I still have cabinets full of games. But some people don't have that luxury. And then there's this other thing pa, a lot of the mass retail stores, well, in most stores in the Philippines do things by consignment.
Yes.
Which is, as far as I know, but I don't know, I could be wrong. In abroad, that's not that common. Most of the time, it's outright. So what's the difference between outright and consignment? So yung outright is, let's say you're the publisher, you're selling a game to this store. The store will buy the games from you, and then when the store sells it, they will make papatong sila kasi they're gonna buy it from the publisher at the parang wholesale rate, and then yun, may kita na sila. So that makes the most sense, right? And that's the best kind of arrangement because the risk is equally distributed between the publisher and the retail store. Kasi both have to put money out. The publisher puts money out in the manufacturing, the retail store puts money out in buying from the publisher. And usually because of that shared risk, maganda yung wholesale rate. Ganon. I mean, people who've had stores, you'll have an idea what I'm talking about. But in the Philippines, we don't have that. We have consignment, which means that you're going to put your stocks in the store, in the retail store, but the retailer will not pay you until they have sold that product. And usually, the consignment rate is actually less yung makukuha ng store. So, you'd think na parang, if you've never done this before, you're not aware na parang, then mas okay yun, mas marami yung makukuha ko kasi consignment has a less rate. But what that means is that the publisher is absorbing all of the risk. Yung seller, wala siyang pake kasi kung hindi nabenta yung produkto, wala siyang nawalan na pera. Ibabalik lang niya yung produkto sa'yo. Sorry,
Buti ba kung bumalik pa sa'yo?
Yes.
Na maayos ang itsura.
Yes. And this also explains why if you go to a bookstore here in the Philippines or any store, if you ask, can I open the product and see what's inside? Yung salesperson, walang pake. Sige, they'll open it, tas you'll find a lot of mga products na sira-sira on the shelves kasi most of that is consignment. Meaning, kung hindi nabili yun, yung walang loss yung store. Yung may loss, yung publisher na naglagay ng produkto doon sa shelves. So, publisher, luging-lugi ka talaga.
May ano pa yan, Nico? Meron pa tinatawag na monthly recon. Kasi, siyempre, hindi naman nila sasabihin sa'yo bumenta yung game mo.
Yes.
Diba? Kailangan mo siyang puntahan kada isa at i-check ngayon sa stockroom nila ilan po ba natitira. Bibilangin mo ngayon. Check mo pa sa cashier. Ito ba nabenta? Kasi, pwede bang nawala?
Yes. And there are cases wherein on the shelf, ubos siya kasi inubos, and when a customer comes and asks, uy, meron pa ba kayong nito? They'll say, sold out. Pero actually, nasa stock room. Hindi lang ni-resupply ng shop yung shelves. Because with the consignment ka, the store doesn't really care so much if nabenta or hindi. Kasi wala silang loss eh. Babalik na lang nila. So that's the
very may loss na through theft. The consignor also assumes that risk. It's not the store.
Yeah.
So you are only paid for what is sold, not what is missing.
Yes. Missing, wala. Thank you.
Wala lang yun.
So ngayon, if now you go back to your computation and you go, okay, so that markup did work. Because not only did you not consider the cost of goods to deliver and land the product, to the store, the cost of goods to reconcile yung actual sales, and then the losses pa.
Yes.
Parang, wow. Kaya, lumalapit ako nung pagka kuha ko ng idea ko ng Codes and Verses, ang naging reaction ko talaga kasi I don't have a physical parang experience sa retail. I'm just familiar with the manufacturing. So parang sabi ko, there's no way for me to do this. I cannot. Si Nico kasi nagsimula sa company. Ako as a designer lang. Lapit talaga agad ako sa sa isang distributor publisher. Kasi talagang at least may channel na eh. Yung
Yes.
expansion channels kasi ni Sir Freddy, agreement na yan, company to company. They'll be able to establish parang working agreements together. And pwedeng pumasok na yan sa supply run nila. Hindi na siya yung parang out of your way, mamamasahe ka, and kada isang MRT station, bababa ka kasi makahatid ka.
Yung added cost for a distributor to add a new product is so tiny compared to yung pagbago ka. Oo. Tapos, yes, ikaw pa maghahabol for the revenue under consignment. And there's another aspect to this as well. Because with stores here in the Philippines, okay, they are able to force consignment into local producers, but they are not able to do that with some international producers because the common state of things is outright with, I mean, you think our stores can force the international suppliers to work on a consignment, diba? Hindi nila magagawa yan. So outright.
Let's look at let's say Under Armour, Nike.
Yeah.
Ano yan? They buy it straight up.
Yes.
Pag land niyan, bayad na. Tapos
Which,
na ang usapan.
Yeah, which also means that the store itself will prioritize selling international goods they bought outright compared to your consignment goods. So, yung local goods na consignment, that's lowest priority in what the stores are trying to sell. Kasi wala silang cash out dun eh. So, ayun eh, parang even within the store, you're competing against international and in a way na the store itself is favoring the outright products that they have. So, yeah.
Pero
medyo,
ang kasi bakit mo naman gusto na nasa store? Kasi foot traffic. I mean, pwede mo sabihin na, di Lazada, Shopee na lang yan. Agree. Pwede talaga, mabilis lang. And in fact, convenient. Ang setting up a store, iwan mo lang yung stock mo sa bahay. Pagka dalhin mo lang sa isang pickup center and then, yun na. However, lahat ngayon ng marketing logistics mo naman, ililipat mo na for awareness and distribution kasi hindi mapapansin ang produkto mo. And ang pinaka na-weirdohan pa kami is meron kaming products, all of our LarongAtin games are in Lazada and Shopee in the Neutral Ground store. Pero may makikita ka magbebenta ng product namin na doble ang presyo na parang sino ba? Ano yan? pero kami, may bumili ba sa inyo? Ano yung syndication lang? Parang, baka meron akong madampot. Kasi sila, siguro meron mga search engine optimization silang ginagawa na somehow they're able to divert traffic. I don't know. But it's interesting kasi parang, pag bumenta ba yan, bibili sa atin? O talagang, they're diluting the market lang. So, I don't know. So, mahirap din. Even if you say, we can go on online route, it is a possibility. Kaso, mataas pa rin ang cost dahil you have to, now it's just you. Wala ka ng katulong.
There's another problem also with the online route, which is Shopee or Lazada. If you're a local game, di ba, yung mga Shopee, Lazada, naka-categorize yon between board games, card games, and gano'n. So, problema sa Shopee and Lazada is sobrang daming mga peking games. Games na peke, but they don't say na peke sila, but the price is so low. So, yung nangyayari is, yung mga local games na original, na cheap compared to original games, nagmumukha nga yung expensive compared to fake games. But most people naman don't really understand the difference. So ayun, mukhang ikaw pa yung expensive. So yan, dami talagang dami.
Parang, bakit ba natin ito pinasok?
Convention nga yung kwento ko nung huli, di ba? May mga nagtatanong ng presyo, tapos pag sinabi mo yung presyo, sabihin, under their breath. So they're already expecting a low price point. I don't know if
yung may hirit, original.
Oo eh. Hindi, under their breath, ay urig. Tapos titigil na. Lalayo na lang.
Parang you're going like, okay. So they were expecting people selling pirated ones. Parang,
Yeah.
okay. Pero again, that's another, that's another challenge.
Price
And sige,
sensitivity.
so on my end, I think we can close it out and you guys can chime in on this. I think, ayun, ang biggest talaga, medyo related din naman to dun sa una na sinabi ni Sir Freddy, is yung awareness lang. Awareness of tabletop gaming in general. Na parang, whenever you come out with a new game, mga tipo nakailan ka na, and then, um, nagugulat ka pa rin of how difficult it is to at least get some yun ma-recognize na game siya na you guys are selling this, that it's something that they can try. The challenge of the games that we are already building are really engineered to that market, but speaking to that market is also more challenging as well. Na parang you already place yourself in conventions and nandun yung typical barriers na, sorry, pang matalino yung game na yan, or they just shy away. No, thank you. So, yun. Ako parang yun, parang inisip mo kasi hobbyist ka, enjoy mo yung games no? Pero ang hirap i-convince, nahirap mag-convince, and I'm already happy na buti nga nandiyan na nga yung larong atin. So at least, batting average, mas malakas yung chance ko na makapagpaupo ng for demo ng isang random stranger sa isang convention using a larong ating game than gamitan ko siya ng, here's Splendor. Not that consistent. Or here's Warchest, ganda ng itsura. O kaya, kahit sabihin natin Seven Wonders Architects, medyo mahirap. As compared to, here's Darna, here's tayo, yung last time. So kahit na, actually sir, feeling ko nag-work sa kanya talaga yung chess, board.
Yeah. I think so too. Familiar kasi.
Oo.
Diba? May sense of familiarity yung tao eh.
Yeah, so parang yung, I think, paano ba? Siguro yung na-underestimate ko is really the apprehension of the general public to engage in tabletop game activities. That is, they always parang relate that to a mental exercise rather than an entertainment exercise.
Yes, that's true.
Or if not a mental exercise, they related to gambling. Meron din yun.
Yes, agree.
Yeah. And
Scalpers and Shopee and Lazada, sabi ni Michael. Sad but true.
Yung experience ko din when demoing, something that took me by surprise, for the more I thought about it, the more I realized it makes sense, is that there are people who don't fully understand gaming for fun. Yung parang may mga tao who they think they feel like the reason for playing games is to win, either to win money or to win something, but yung playing just for fun, parang hindi nila mag-grasp na as a hobby, ayun. It was very funny nga nung dati so nasa isang Comic-Con kami, we were demoing Darna, and we were in the booth of ABS-CBN. ABS-CBN gave us a space, and so yung foot traffic ngayon, inaalok namin na maglaro ng Darna game. And more often than not, yung mga tao, when they come to our booth and we ask them to play, akala nila promo to like win random prizes in the booth. Hindi nila parang, so we're explaining the game, this is how to win, and gano'n. So parang, ano po yung premyo? Parang, yun yung hinihintay. Parang, tas, yung premyo is nag-enjoy kayo. Tapos parang, parang hindi talaga na marketing stunt to win a prize or something like that. Pero yung just gaming for the sake of gaming, yun, some people, they just never experienced it. So, it's not familiar to them. So, yun.
Pero I think it has been improving, no, Sir Freddy? As compared to the conventions we've gone to the past, na talagang there's no parang recognition of, uy, that's a Hugot game, that's a Darna game,
Mm.
that's a Plataforma game. Ngayon parang meron ng ano eh, oh, yung pala yung Plataforma, oh. And then yung last trip story is, oh, ito yung Plataforma, sige po, kuha ko. Oh, may bagong game yung designer na yan, ito yung watch this. Magkano po? Oh sige, kuha na rin po ako. By the way, nandito po yung designer. It's okay. No need. They don't
Yeah.
wanna see me. It's like, oh, not
Yeah,
important.
nagulat talaga ako dyan with Conquest eh. Parang, ha? Talaga? Parang, okay.
Di mo pa na-experience yung may nagpapasign sa'yo ng card?
No, na-experience ko yung mga nagpapasign. Ito
Oo.
yung reverse, Nico. This is the new thing that we experience.
Okay,
In-offer na nandyan ang designer, and then ang reaction is, oh, we don't wanna see him.
Yeah.
Weird.
It's
Talaga.
okay, thank you.
That happened more than once. Talagang, I think yung lahat ng nabentang plataforma, karamihan don't want to meet the designer.
Pero they bought it.
They bought it.
They bought it. Talagang, I don't know what was happening there. That's not the usual thing that happens.
It's not the usual.
Diba?
But that's actually a good development for me kasi that means that they're interested in the game but nahihiya sila sa designer. So parang
Probably.
it's not yung I bought kasi may personal connection ako sa designer. It's because I have a connection to the game. So that's a good
Yes.
Yeah.
Agree that it's a good thing kasi they still bought it, diba?
Mhm.
And bought it na yung speed to sale is not a long conversation of here's it's more of like pass by, I know this game, and then magkano po, bayad, parang bumili lang ng soft drinks.
Yeah.
Pero by the way, yung designer ng soft drinks nandito, okay na po, okay.
And even sa Toycon yung sa booth ni Nathan, sabi niya, people were buying the LarongAtin games because they knew the games. But what's interesting is they heard or knew about the games, but they didn't exert the extra effort to, let's say, look for it online or go to the store that supposedly carry it. Pero nung nakita nila sa Toycon, uy, alam ko to and then they bought. So that was something that Nathan brought up to me.
Yeah.
Na parang, well, at least that's good news for us na meron na tayong buzz. Pero wala lang yung extra step on the mat yun sa tao na hahanapin talaga tayo.
Yeah.
So we really need to go, right up to their faces. Hey, andito kami, andito ka rin, sige, now's your chance to buy. But, di ba, yung even the to type it on Google, they won't do it. Di ba?
Yeah.
Parang, it's interesting.
But that's good kasi may awareness na. Kasi, ewan ko, parang most of my demoing experiences were like 2017, 2018, and hindi namin na-experience yun. When we were demoing, wala talaga, zero awareness.
Yeah.
Yes, I think the
Zero
efforts
or nag-effort na parang na may nakita na Facebook post. So it's either, it's not the middle awareness, it's zero or very aware. So yung middle awareness, parang maganda yun kasi that means parang may subconscious.
Kumbaga, in the social, gaming subconscious, it is there. And yun, parang nakita nga din namin yung price point, for example, yan din.
Yeah.
Something na na-underestimate natin. Ito lang pala yung viable na price point.
Yeah. Akala natin 500, yun pala, it has to be lower.
It has to be lower than 500. Parang hindi ka pwedeng umabot ng isang meal sa Burger King and medyo high-end. Kailangan at most maybe a coffee and a sandwich or something like that. Ganun yung cap it there, and if they can trade that. Parang ganun yung peg. Sabi ni Michael, thank you Michael for supporting the game. Pero yun, for the fellow core gamers, alam mo naman na they're buying because they wanna support.
Mm-hmm.
And then parang extra na yung pumasa sa kanila. Actually, yay, thank you. Actually, pumasa. Alam mo naman, tutulungan ka para at least mapakita yung game mo din sa iba. Pero yun, ang pinaka naging surprising ditong sa Conquest was that odd behavior of, oh, we just wanna buy that game, it's okay, thank you. Para yung that same reaction of yung alam mo yung pag pumasok ka sa parking tapos kinakawayan ka nung guy na naglilinis ng tapos ikaw naman kaway ka na hindi na. So, ganun siya. We just wanna buy the game. It's okay. We just wanna buy the game. Which is great. So parang siguro kailangan pa natin to be more exposed out there, be more present in conventions, but it's also costly to do so.
Yes.
So not unless na bigyan ka ng friendly partnership na nandiyan ang advocates, we can also help introduce the game. Nahirap. It's just cold market.
That's another thing na underestimate ko is the effective, how do you say, the reach when demoing. Kasi you'd think na kasi the demoing games is very different from demoing other things like comics and stickers and art. Kasi yung game takes like at least 15-10 minutes to explain to a person. So parang in an hour, kung 10-15 minutes, then you are only able to demo to 4 people. Pero like stickers, isang tingin lang, okay, gets na niya kung ano siya, stickers, gets na niya kung gusto ba niya or hindi, tapos bibili na siya or hindi. So actually, ayun, yung the reach that games have at a convention is still so much smaller than
ano siya?
Merchandise and other types of things. So
long play talaga. Long game ang laro kasi parang yun sa MCP, di ba, Sir Freddy, demo yung team for Marvel Crisis Protocol, pero there's nobody that can afford it at that convention. It's not their price point, but they sit and they play the whole thing and they get to experience the whole thing. So alam mo, in the future, this might be an opportunity. So ganun siya. Talaga medyo hard work.
Yeah.
Isa. Matrabaho pala tong pinasok natin.
I remember bigla, we did a con before. Tapos, so we got a table. I think at the time, Darna and Big Switch lang yung game namin. So we had this, it was a small convention. Tapos may kilala kami na friend who also wanted to be part of the convention pero hindi siya nakakuha ng table. So sabi ko, tas nagbebenta siya ng mga stickers and like accessories and stuff. Tas sabi ko, maki-share ka na lang sa table namin kasi malaki naman yung table. So sabi niya, sige. So we shared. Tapos I said na parang, sige, okay lang, bayad na namin yung side mo. Huwag na maghati. Ganon. So, ayun. So the whole day, there were like me, Marks, and Aa. 3 of us, all the time demoing, nangahakot ng tao, naghahanap ng tao, ganon. And yung friend namin, nakaupo lang siya, just minding yung booth niya, ganon. And at the end of the day, siguro, 3 times yung sales niya sa amin, demoing and stuff like that, and all the effort na, because it's passive magbenta ng mga magagandang stickers than a game na talagang actively have to go out, look for people, gauge if they want to play, tapos you have to teach it, and imagine just at a game night, diba? When you're teaching a game, sobrang nakakapagod. But when you're doing that in a con with it's noisy and you have a limited time, you can easily demo I have to teach the game 20, 30 times in a day.
Yep.
So, ayun, yung con sales talaga and yung effort to sales ng con for tabletop also so much less compared to comic stickers. And even that, comic stickers, mahirap na yun, ha? So, yeah, grabe ang...
Sineset up mo pa lang yung story, alam ko na yung ending, eh.
Yeah.
I know that so well already. Talagang you're always playing the long game, eh. And you don't necessarily sell something on the spot. A classic example, may nabentang isang Lastic Man sa Conquest. And ang kwento nung nagbumili, na-demo sa akin to nung Comic Con eh. I don't know how long ago that was. That's pre-pandemic, di ba?
No?
What?
At least 2 years.
When,
Oo.
because when we demoed Plastic Man to him daw, hindi pa siya binibenta. So we were demoing the prototype.
Na-late kasi nga ang
Yes.
Plastic Man to Comic Con. Yes, oo.
So sa Conquest niya lang binili. But it's such a sobrang haba ng gestation na yun. For 500 pesos.
Pero yung memorable experience niya, 'di ba? Galing, 'di ba? Yun yung ano eh, slow burn pero critical mass. I think in, a decade in, you'll see the fruits of our labor or not. We had fun doing it. Merong comment si Miguel in relation to the problem with tabletop game market. Have you tried porting some of your tabletop games to video games? HTML, Android, iOS, or native, to make the game more accessible. It may not replicate tabletop game experience, but probably at least help introduce the game to a wider audience. Yes, we have. You can check out some of the games. Quotes and Verses is on Android. And then no movement there. No movement there. But there is one that is about to come out, Tayog. And that one, I think, is more viable in its video game form. Parang dun talaga yung traction niya. So we're excited about that. There are some games namin na I think can convert to video game experience well. I think Folded Wishes is actually one of those na parang it'll be cool as tiles and then you move the animated meeples. But the thing is, let's go back to cost. In order for you to develop a video game, you need developers, artists, game designers, and people who will program the platform, code the platform. Yes, you can do it yourself, but then you also have the annual cost related to each of the platform. Mura lang sa Android, but if you need to really sell it, you want to sell it in the App Store, and that one at least requires you $99 to $250 a year. So there's a lot of involved costs. Mahirap pa rin siya. Ang tendency ng mga board games na nag-successful conversion to mobile form or game form are popular games that did really well in the tabletop market. Then kinonvert, parang ano lang siya parang upsell. Hey, you really like Scythe? By the way, may Scythe app na. And then the fans of Scythe, I'll get it. Even if you never play it. Because I played it once, twice. Diba? Same thing. May Everdell na. I bought it. I know I'm not gonna play it as much. And I have so many board game apps. Yun lang ang reality, my comments on that one. Pero yes, we have explored it and we continue to explore it. Medyo challenging na talaga din yung costs involved in designing, building tabletop games on a mobile form because of the upkeep around it.
And on my end naman, yung games na design ng Balangay is that a lot of our games, the games we've done, Darna, Lastic Man, siguro Bagani yung pwede. Pero yung Big Switch, Lastic Man, Darna, they can't really translate to video games well. And that's actually part of that's actually by design. Because yung part of the mentality of the game design philosophy ng Balangay when we design games is we want to make full use of the medium, and especially with the mass market games we have limited production budgets because we want to keep the games cheap. We have to use other aspects of tabletop game design to its fullest. Things like face-to-face interaction, reading people, the body language. Kasi like kunyari, Darna has a lot of bluffing elements, and that's what a lot of people actually enjoy about it. Yung Lastic Man naman has a lot of dexterity. Also, the Big Switch has a lot of dexterity aspects. So, ayun, medyo by design talaga siya na we're trying to make full use of the tabletop experience in the games. So, yun nga yung bad side is that it's hard to translate it into a different medium like video games. So,
Agreed.
yung trade-offs lang, ganun talaga.
Yeah, if you guys want to check out yun, you can even try out the app for free of Quotes and Verses. Go to scripturedview.com and then you'll see sort of like a very bare bones app of Quotes and Verses. So what Nico said nga, I didn't convert the game into a solo game experience because the whole point of Quotes and Verses is a social activity. You need the other players. So the instead of an app, we converted it sort of a companion app that people can then now play online. This was our response during the pandemic. So we released this a few weeks in of the pandemic, and yun, people got to play Q&V even on Zoom. They just need to have a copy on their phone or accessing the website, and then they get to play it for free. So yun. But yeah, it's a very different story. Hopefully, as we go into a wider audience. So yun something that Sir Freddy is looking into is how do we now interact with our neighbors in Asia. So get them to know about our games. I think somebody mentioned nga a while ago, look into export. Agree. Maybe it's not just enough to have a local presence. Maybe we need to also get some learning from the outside market. And also, sila din. Matulungan din natin sila. Sino-sino pa yung magtutulungan. So, yun. So, cool. I think we can probably talk about this for the next 5 hours. Not a problem. But we don't want to keep you guys too long. It's almost 2 hours. So, thank you everyone for joining us. Again, this is a once a month thing. So excited din kami to get together and talk about our beloved hobby or passion project. One of the two. But at the same time, end of the day, we're seeing the effects and we're very excited about how things are improving. It has improved from the time we Sir Freddy, diba, Quotes and Verses, the first one we got to publish, to the multitude of the games we were able to do today. We do rule books better. Mas maganda na sila.
Although still learning.
Still learning. A lot of learning to go. But at least, we're able to share this experience na. Talk to us noong 2015, 2014, and not a lot of things we can share with you guys. Because pare-paro lang pa kaming But, 7 years down the road, at least, okay, we've seen what our challenges are and what else we can do. So I hope you guys are inspired, not intimidated to pursue game design and to express yourself in your as a creative output. Sabi nga ni Nico, it's a good creative outlet. So go at it. It's maganda lang na if you're going at it and you want to pursue certain things, maganda that you are aware of all of the other things around it, that you're not blinded and going at it na hindi measured yung risk. By having a more measured approach, then less yung damage or less yung impact to you and you'll be able to enjoy the experience more. Okay. Thank you everyone for joining us. Wala rin tayong outro dahil baka ma-flag pa. Pero actually, wala nang pakialam si kasi baka diba? Kasi hindi mo ba
Tapos na eh.
iba. Tapos naman na. So, yun. So, sige, we will play our outro. Kasi kahit naman na i-block.
Yeah, they can cut it now.
They can cut it now. Thank you everyone for joining us. Until next time. Bye. Keep safe.
Hey, good night. Thank you.
Night.
Bye.
Bye.
See you next week. Bye-bye.